Hello everybody and welcome to JGod Gaming. In today's video we're back with another subscriber breakdown. In today's video I'm going to try and keep it as brief as possible. They uploaded 2 different matches, but I really want to emphasize a couple different points in the video that will actually boost this player's overall KD and make it skyrocket. So hopefully these are a few tips that hopefully you'll be able to relate to and be able to improve from as well. If at any point in the video you find any of the tips helpful or you just enjoy the video at all, remember to hit that like button. If this is your first time to the channel, I normally upload Call of Duty videos about the news, tips and tricks of how to improve, different in-game updates, subscriber breakdowns like this one, and then also best class setup. So if any of that seems at all interesting to you, make sure you subscribe with those notifications on. So let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. First up is the class setup. So right here he's going to be running Expeditionary with the Specialist Basic Training. That's going to give him Hunker, Escalation, and Clandestine. And then he's going to be running the Orso with Grip, Advanced Rifling, and Extended Mags. So great setup there. Doesn't really use the actual melee weapon at all. And for the lethals, he's actually running the standard nade with the flashbang. This is the first change I would actually make to the class setup. I'd actually switch those nades to S-mines, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that throughout the video. But definitely the biggest change you could possibly make with this class setup, besides actually changing the basic training, which I'll get into that as well. The full-length footage of what he actually sent me was about 15 minutes of actual gameplay, so I'm going to be chopping that down significantly. But what I saw over that time is that he didn't get a single nade kill from his entire gameplay. With double nades, seems like he comes out of spawn, throws them, and absolutely just wastes them. Whereas an S-mine, you can actually place it in hot areas. And especially since he's running Specialist, they can actually guard your back in some scenarios. Where if you just place it down, you can push forward knowing that if that bouncing Betty goes off, even if it doesn't kill your enemy, at least it's going to alert you to where your enemy is. The second thing I want to talk about is probably lowering the sensitivity just by 1 tick, because a lot of these gunfights, he doesn't get the aim assist, or he does, but he's able to fight off the aim assist, which that's the problem with higher sensitivities. You got to be a lot more controlled with that sensitivity. You can see he ends up losing some gunfights where he actually has the person dead, but he ends up just kind of taking his crosshairs all off of them, and he doesn't really get the aim assist. The thing moves around a little too wildly. You can see kill right here. He ends up dying because of it. So I'd probably lower it by at least 1 tick so you can make sure you don't get those easy deaths. So now we're moving on to Market Garden, still TDM, and pretty much the same stuff holds true. Same class setup, same basic training, same all that stuff. So let me talk a little bit about why the basic training should change to Blitzkrieg or even Ordnance, but Blitzkrieg in my opinion. This person regularly goes on 5 and 6 streaks, but not really much longer than that. So he doesn't get the benefit of Specialist. Specialist is only good when you can go on 10, 12, and 15 streaks on a regular basis. For Blitzkrieg, if he's only going to run 3 streaks, I'd recommend doing a recon, a counter recon, and a fighter pilot, because that would just allow him to cycle through his streaks on a regular basis and have that map awareness full time. The other route is to go with 4 streaks, and if he's going to go with 4 streaks, I'd go with recon, and then I do a fighter pilot with firebombing run and paratroopers. That'd be my overall class setup. Because in a lot of these scenarios, he gets shot in the back, or at least that's what I saw. He gets shot in the back from not knowing that someone's behind him, but he probably would have had a recon because he's right around a 4 or a 5 streak where he could have had that recon. So basically, he loses his Specialist streak, goes back to ground 0, and he loses out on his streak altogether. Getting back to the tip about the bouncing Betty, what you're going to see is throughout here, he dies a lot getting shot in the back, or at least he gets in bad positionings, and in the end of the day, he could have been placing these S-mines down behind him, especially since there's a lot of tight corridors. The contact is forced through different doorways, so odds are he's going to get some easy free 2, 3, or 4 kills every single match, so that's going to automatically boost his KD, especially since these nades are poorly timed or just bad luck. Everyone's running Hunker or whatever the case is. They're not doing much good for him. And I have one more tip that I think a lot of people struggle with, and it's probably the most important in this video. But before I get to it, remember to hit that like button if you haven't already and are enjoying the video for the content. And you want to stay up to date with future content, make sure you subscribe with those notifications on. So this next tip I'm going to talk about is timing. Knowing when to fire your weapon. And this is specifically geared towards flanking. So right here he's coming up behind this guy and he has a good positioning. The recon plane is in the air. He knows where people are at, and then pretty much he fires his weapon before he actually gets close to close that gap, and then make sure he can get that double kill a little easier. Obviously it worked out, so it's nothing bad there, but there's a lot of scenarios where people run up, and this one I'd back out because right now he's going to get swarmed. He's really in a bad position. But altogether, what ends up happening is you lose out on some good flank kills where you can get 2, 3, 4, 5 different kills back to back to back, especially if you wait for the actual moment. Here's another quick example of the sensitivity being too high before I actually get into the next part again, which is going to still be that timing route, because he ends up just firing his weapon non-stop, and you'll see it right here. Obviously, this is that part of that clip where he fed again, but watch this part right here. Look at how long he fires his weapon without getting a hit marker, and he basically was firing non-stop, and it's like, dude, you gotta stop, because you're giving away your position, and that ends up screwing him on that next part where he ended up dying. That's pretty much it for the tips. If you'd like to have your gameplay featured in the next video, go ahead and make sure you check out the description below, and make sure you comment once you have done the process. Then we'll go ahead and maybe see you featured in the next one. I did try something a little different with this one. I tried to shorten it up a little bit to try and get it under 6 minutes, because the other ones were kind of getting a little bit longer, and I'm not sure if you guys prefer the other way, where I can actually go step by step the entire match, or you prefer these a little bit more chopped up ones. So go ahead and let me know what your thoughts are about that in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.